This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brett Cresswell. Joining me today by phone is the Toledo Symphony's music director, Alain Trudel. And here in the studio, we have Principal Second Violin and Artistic Administrator Merwin Hsu and the TSO's Director of Marketing, Vanessa Gardner. Welcome to everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. You may wonder why I'm playing this brass fanfare. Okay, a little timpani in there as well. That's because the world-famous Canadian brass are coming to play with the Toledo Symphony. It's happening Friday and Saturday. That's February 18th and 19th, 8 o'clock p.m. both nights at the Toledo Museum of Art, Peristyle. You can find more information at 419-246-8000 or, of course, the website at toledosymphony.com. So I'm a little outnumbered here. I've got 3 Canadians on the show to talk about Canadian brass. 2 of you are brass players, Alain, a world-famous trombonist, and Vanessa, a world-famous horn player.
Slightly less famous.
And we have Merwin, who only plays string instruments, right? You don't play any brass.
I think maybe I might have bronzed my baby violin. Does that count?
Yeah, that can count, compared to anything that I have to offer. So that's great. That's great. Let's start out by, everybody's heard of the Canadian brass, even people who aren't necessarily classical music fans. I mean, they've released almost 140 albums. I looked at our database, and I've got 400 different tracks that feature them as the soloists or the orchestra. So, we play a lot of Canadian brass on the radio. People hear it all over the place. And they're coming to Toledo. Alain, do you want to talk about Canadian brass?
Well, I can bring people in by the history of the group a little bit.
Okay, tell us about them.
They're the most famous brass group in the world, and they have been for 40 years now. So a lot of people know them. But, we're always a legend in our very little the world of classical music. So it's good to talk about what's happening to everybody at large. So they started off, it's not that they're Canadian, it's just they started from a Canadian orchestra. They started from the Hamilton Philharmonic in the 70s. And the director then, Webster, said, you should do a brass group with the principals of the orchestra. And it just started like that. But they were they always had this great imagination of doing transcriptions and doing things. Always a knack for, what people would like and what they like, and they put it all together. So, they have a great sense of humor. So everything really clicked. And also what helped is that just a few years after they started, right out from the Hamilton Philharmonic, they went and they played at the Kennedy Center. And they had like a big review there, and they had a review in the Times. And just it started up from there. And the New York Times really said that there's, a main stage attraction. And I guess all brass lovers, they came at a time where all brass lovers were looking for this one band that would do something else than just Papa, I guess. And they come in, they play Toccata and Fugue by Bach, which they play all the time. They sound amazing. But they would also play all kinds of music, like from the Beatles, from that. So I think they agree with the silent playlist that we have inside of us, that sometimes we like to say, yes, for me it's smaller, which it is, it's great. But, we always have this little playlist that's going on inside of us that's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and they just go right on it, and they've been around for a long time, and they just kept getting better and better.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish your sentence, Alain.
My sentence was, you can do better.
Okay. Good to know.
No, but they just keep getting better and better every year.
Yeah, That's amazing. Well, I want to talk more about Canadian brass, but before we get there, I will note, by the way, that you only knocked out 2 of my quiz questions in your expose. But I want to get us in the mood, right? So here's our mood setter for this afternoon. This will be easy for you 3 Canadians. I'm going to give you a slang term in Canadese, and you have to use it in a sentence. Okay?
That should be fun.
So, Elaine, let's start with you. Your word is Chesterfield. Use that in a sentence in Canadian manner. You know what a Chesterfield is?
Oh, you're breaking up.
Who wants to take Chesterfield? Okay, go ahead, Vanessa.
When I moved into my new house, I bought 2 beautiful new armchairs and a lovely blue velvet Chesterfield.
Yay, good job. A Chesterfield, of course, is a sofa or a couch in Canadian slang. Okay, here's one. Let's try this again, Elaine, okay? Well, actually, I'm going to give this one to Merwin. Okay, Merwin, your mood-setting slang term is hang a Roger. Use that in a sentence, please.
I don't think I know this one. I'm going to pass this to Elaine and see.
Hang a Roger.
I don't know this one. Can I pass this to Elaine?
Do you know, Elaine?
Repeat the question, please.
Can you use the phrase hang a Roger in a sentence?
Oh, wow.
Hang a Roger. Oh, yeah, it's when you're supposed to win the MVP and somebody else wins it instead of you that doesn't deserve it. Oh, no, sorry, that's NFL.
The opposite of hang a Roger is hang a Larry. Does that help? Hang a Larry, hang a Roger.
Is that a right-left port?
Does it have
Yes.
starboard?
It's right,
okay.
left.
Hang a Roger.
Right, left, yes.
That's funny.
Right, left. Okay, Elaine, I've got one I hope you can get. This phrase is only one word. That word is a.
Oh, yeah, that can replace anything.
So can you use that in a sentence?
Well, I was out in the boat, hey?
Come on, you can do better than that.
A.
Actually,
Okay, no, wait a second. 2 completely different sentences, okay? I was out in the boat, hey?
The boot.
That means I was out and about, out on a boat.
I figured. I was able to ascertain that one myself.
well, there's actually it's actually important that you mentioned this because Canadian orchestras actually tune after the concert, so that the A is at the end.
I knew you were going to bring up the concert pitch A, one way or the other. A. Okay.
So far,
now,
I think I'm winning.
Yeah, you are definitely winning. So we're all primed for our Canadian brass quiz. Let me pull up a little music here. This is not the Canadian brass. This is somebody else doing a little Gilbert and Sullivan here. Okay. Canadian brass formed in what city and what year? Here's a hint. It is in Canada.
Are we saying them out loud or are we writing?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just say them out loud.
Well, I said it already.
Say it again. Hamilton. Do you remember the year they were formed?
1971.
So I just would like to do some quick math here. Elaine said it a little while ago, the most famous brass quintet, for 40 years, but I think it's like 50.
They weren't really famous in 1992. They had a lull in 1998. 2005 was a bad vintage.
Yeah, totally.
Aww.
Where did they... Wait, what were they originally called? Was it the Canadian Brass All-Stars, the Canadian Brass Ensemble, or the Canadian Brass Maple Leaves? Which of those 3, A, B, or C? You can answer right away.
All-Stars.
All-Stars? Nope, not the All-Stars. Was it Ensemble or Maple Leaves? Got a 50-50 chance. What's that, Elaine?
Maple Leafs, maybe?
Ooh, I get to do A at the end. How Canadian of me.
Yes. Perfect. The Canadian Brass Ensemble. Then the director of the Hamilton Orchestra said you should drop that, just be the Canadian Brass. And they were like, okay. And the rest is history, as they say, except for, what did you say, 72 or 92 and 2007, something like that?
That was exhaustively researched.
Yeah. So they made their U.S. debut in 1975. Where? And Elaine already said this, but...
I already said, sorry.
Kennedy Center.
Yeah. We'll give that to Vanessa. Kennedy Center. They've appeared on many record labels. To what do they owe their first recording contract from RCA Records? That's a label they did a lot of work with. And their first album with RCA was precipitated by what? Playing a concert, playing on the radio, or by accident? A, B, or C? What do you say? Jump in there.
I'll go with by accident.
No, not by accident. Radio or live performance?
Let's go with radio.
Yes, indeed.
It's the record of transcription. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was heard by a record producer through WQXR, and the next thing you knew, they were recording for RCA. Okay, in 1993, the founding Canadian brass trumpet player Stuart Lawton founded a record label. What is it called? Is it Flemish Eye, Opening Day, or Paper Bag Records? Which of those three?
Opening Day.
Opening Day. And Elaine is pulled into the lead. Okay, what is that label best known for? Is it for recording both classical and pop artists? Is it for specializing in Canadian performers and compositions? Or is it because it only releases albums from the Canadian brass? A, B, or C? What is the record label Opening Day?
Brad, it can be A and B because they also do pop. But
Well, that's true.
But they have Canadian artists all the way.
Yes. And Elaine is cementing his lead. No surprise there. Okay, which of these is not the title of an album by the Canadian brass? Viva la Vida, Bad Romance, or I'll Be Bach? Which
Can I
of
try
the-
Bad Romance?
No,
Oh, no.
they actually did Bad Romance covering Lady Gaga.
Oh, that's awesome.
I thought Bad Romance was the second one that you said.
Yeah, that was the second one.
Okay, so it's the first one that's not one.
The first one, Viva la Vida.
Yeah.
No, that was an album. Viva la Vida
We gave it away.
in 2011. So
I'll be back.
that goes to
I'm
Vanessa.
disappointed in them.
Yeah, I know, right? It totally sounds like
Okay.
something they would do.
Vanessa, if you can get this, you'll be tied with Elaine. If
Okay.
not, then Elaine wins. Okay.
That's a lot of pressure.
I
Here's
know.
our last question. Which of the following items can be found for sale in the official Canadian Brass online store? In other words, you can buy these through their website, all right? Canadian Brass socks, Canadian Brass underwear, or the Elaine Trudel mouthpiece. Which of those
Socks.
three
Socks.
can you find? Yes. And Elaine actually beat Vanessa, so Elaine is the
Let's call it a draw.
Yeah, thank you, Elaine.
okay, a draw.
Canadian.
Wow,
I
this
think
is-
I'll-
See, that was so Canadian of
I
him.
know, this is the most Canadian episode ever.
Well, yeah, and there's more Canada yet to come because I actually
Wow.
have some Canadian-centric quizzes. Well, I looked at my soundboard there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
I thought
My
you're,
daughter came and said, "Don't be sorry, Papa."
Sorry about that.
yeah, you can put her on the phone and we can
Good job, guys.
and we can play her back to herself. I want to warn you guys now before we get into any other business here. I do have some special sound effects just for this episode. It's a little friend that I like to call Trumpy. Okay, it has nothing to do with our former president, by the way. Here's an example of Trumpy's artistry.
I think
Okay.
I know who recorded that.
So that's Trumpy. Here's Sad Trumpy.
Sounds good, huh?
I mean, there's no sad trombone courtesy of Alain Trudeau, but, you know, here's Pop Goes to Trumpy. Yeah, and here's Trumpy's Charge if you're interested. So instead of like the normal bad buzzer and the cheering cloud, we'll do Sad Trumpy. And Trumpy's Charge for a correct answer. Now I should have done that before, but I forgot. So
You can go back and edit it in.
yeah, we'll put it in later. Okay. So Vanessa, while you're here, I know you have stories. You studied with the former horn player of the Canadian Brass. Let's hear some scoop from you about behind the scenes.
I studied with Dave Ohanian, who was the horn player for Canadian Brass from 1982 to 1998. So basically my entire childhood, quite literally. And around about the time that he retired from Canadian Brass, his wife, Suzanne, won the second bassoon audition at the Boston Symphony. So they relocated to Boston, and I was entering my second year at the Boston Conservatory, and Dave came onto the faculty. and I studied with him for 3+ years. And actually, my senior year, I was looking for a new French horn, and he was like, I have a couple that you could maybe try out. So he gave me his a Yamaha Canadian brass horn that, they were gold plated and all that stuff, fancy.
Wow.
And I was going to purchase that horn, and then I had a house fire, and I could no longer afford a gold-plated French horn.
Wow.
so I ended up buying his other Yamaha, which was not gold-plated, but a much better horn for me overall. And then Suzanne's brother, Jeff, became the horn player of Canadian Brass, and he'll be here. So it's all kind of in the family.
Yeah,
So-
they're all related. You mentioned Jeff Nelson, who's the French hornist.
Yeah.
His bio calls him a Canadian pig farm raised magician horn player.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
Accurate.
What do you know about that?
I do know that they did grow up on a pig farm. I want to say in Saskatchewan, but I might not have the right province. Ooh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
and-
you are Canadian after all, right?
Oh, come on. I thought I was going to get the charge story. And actually, both Dave and Jeff were at my senior horn recital. So no pressure to do my senior recital with 2 Canadian brass horn players.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And they came to the after party too.
Well, in addition to Jeff, we've got Caleb Hudson is the trumpet player. He's the newest member of Canadian Brass, although you did say that the other trumpet player is a new
James
member
Vaughn
as
is
well.
joining for this.
James
this
Vaughn.
concert, Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Achilles Liarmakopoulos, the trombonist, who I guess plays occasionally with Pink Martini, which is the band that has Ari Shapiro in it sometimes, and they've played here with the symphony many times. Yeah, so that's a great connection there as well. And of course, the legendary founder, Elaine, do you want to talk about the tuba player, Chuck Dallenbach, who helped found the ensemble back in 1970?
Yeah, he was there right from the beginning. It's amazing. And he's still sounding great. That's on the international stage that long. It's not like somebody who plays, an instrument just like that, as an amateur. He's been playing top level for all this time. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
And he's also the mind behind Canadian Brass, like the business mind as well, and marketing. So he's the heart of the group, actually. But what they've done in the last, let's say, 15 years, there were a lot of changes in Canadian Brass because, Chuck is a phenomenon of nature, but the other people, at some point you retire, right?
Yeah.
So they prepared that very well. Achilles, trombone player, fabulous, amazing trombone player. He's only the second trombone player to play in Canadian Brass. Gene was there for very, very long. He was there for decades and decades. And that was a big thing. Sorry, the third trombone player in Canadian Brass. Keith played for 2 years before that. But Achilles now is part of the heart of the group. Jeff is interesting because he's been in and out a few times.
Yeah. I think he was in, and then he played on Broadway for a little while, and now he's back.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the thing with Jeff is that everybody wants him. So it's like wherever he goes, because he has such an incredible attitude. Jeff does this master class of playing without fear,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably how you felt in your recital.
Yeah,
sitting
no
there.
fear whatsoever.
And one big thing they've established, and I was a little bit doubtful when they started that, because I played with the most of the original members of Canadian Brass back in the day, but when I played with different incarnations of the group over the last 20-some years, conducting their concerts, collaborating. And one thing they say is that there's so many great trumpet players out there, but if you want to keep people fresh and add people for a specific project, they did something, and I thought at the beginning it was kind of it's kind of a shtick. They said they're going to have a dream team of trumpets. And you know what? They succeeded. They have about 6 players that they use, and they're amazing, and they all are, like Canadian Brass is now like 8 people. Because those trumpet players create. Brandon was there for a long time. He wrote a lot of music for them. Caleb is one of the most unbelievable instrumentalists that you will ever hear. if anybody wants to check on the internet, Bach, like a partita Bach that he plays by himself in a church, it's to die for. It's so beautiful. So it's very exciting. So the group together, they have this mix of the different generation, different kind of experience, and the one thing that's always a constant is of course talent, but also the will from all of them to entertain while playing top quality music. And it's not everybody who can do that. Some people can play very well, but don't disturb them while they're trying to play well.
Yeah.
Because it's work, But for Canadian brass, you have to work so hard that it becomes play. That's a big testament to what they're able to do.
Yes. Trumpy approves. Absolutely. I feel like naked without this at the end of one of those conversations. We've gotten so used to it. Let's do the first part of our O Canada quiz, okay? So you can put on your Canadian hats, and this one Merwin can play too, because you are a Canadian, but you're not a brass player. So, I mean, I'm not a brass player either, but I can.
was an Albertan separatist.
Yes, Albertan separatists. Okay, is that a hockey team?
We only wish.
Yeah,
all right.
Wish.
I do have a hockey question on here. I'm not sure if it's on this one or the next one. Okay, so we'll do it this way. This is the one where I'll read through the 6 different questions, and you write down or remember the answer A, B, C, okay, of that you want. And let me pull up some music here. Okay. Got some music going? Can everybody hear me all right? Okay. Yep. The first Tim Hortons opened in what city? Was it London? Was it Hamilton? Or was it Barrie? Okay. Second question. What is Canada's only officially bilingual province? Is it Quebec, Ontario, or New Brunswick? How many time zones does Canada have? Is it 6, 8, or 10? A, B, or C? What is the largest country in the world? Is it Russia, China, or Canada? A, B, and C. Who was the youngest person ever to become Canada's Prime Minister? Was it Justin Trudeau? Was it Joe Clark? Or was it Brian Mulroney? And finally, which of the following was not a Canadian invention? Was it peanut butter, the electric wheelchair, or the cheese slicer? A, B, or C? Okay. Everybody write down your questions. You got them? Or your answers, rather?
Yep.
So, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but on the New Year's episode, I had a resolution to guess less.
And you're fulfilling it now.
I am not fulfilling that resolution, even remotely.
Yeah? Wait, to guess less, so you are guessing.
I am guessing incredible amounts. Oh, that's perfect.
Yes.
That's exactly how I feel.
Exactly. Well, we'll go back and go over those answers momentarily. But first, let's talk a little bit about some of the music that Canadian Brass is going to bring to the Peristyle, because I'm looking at the selections as of last notice, and there's a huge variety of stuff here. I think that, it kind of touches on all different aspects of what they play and what they perform. What do you think, Elaine?
It goes back a little bit to what I was saying a little earlier, is that kind of, it's like when you make a playlist, So they have, they'll play Bach. They play more classical things because that's kind of a signature they do, and they do very well. And they do their traditional coming in. If you haven't seen them before, I'm not gonna give the punch away. So when people come to the concert, they can see how they start their part of the show, because they will do a part of the show by themselves. Then they will join us, or we'll join them. And then after that, we have a bunch of selections that goes from the Beatles to blues to classical. It's really a very interesting playlist.
Yeah. And the whole idea that their performance is a little bit physical as well, makes it exciting to be in the hall.
It's demanding for to see a brass group playing. I mean, it's very physical. So when to be there live and to see. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. It's super entertaining to see them via our Tapa streaming app, but now to be live, to experience the music, to experience the brass music live that hits you like that, that's something special.
Yeah, absolutely. I should mention Canadian Brass are coming to the Peristyle Friday and Saturday night. That's February 18th and 19th, 8 o'clock p.m. And you can find more information at ToledoSymphony.com or 419-246-8000. Okay, answer to the quiz. You ready? Let me give you the answers here. Pull that up. Okay. The first Tim Hortons opened in Hamilton. That was number B in 1964. Anybody get that? Merwin got it? Okay.
Yep.
Canada's only officially bilingual province is New Brunswick. That's the only one that is officially bilingual. That's hard to say. Officially bilingual. Yes,
Imagine being bilingual.
Yeah, I can't imagine being lingual, let alone bilingual. Quebec is officially an all-French province, by the way.
Oh.
Ontario, I don't know anything about that. Okay. How many time zones does Canada have? 6, 8, or 10? It's 6. A. Did anybody get New Brunswick, by the way?
Mm-mm.
Nobody got that? Okay, so 6, 8, or 10 time zones. The answer is 6.
Got that.
Yep. One that's half an hour.
Yeah, Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, and... Does anybody know what the last one is?
Newfoundland time?
Newfoundland time.
Yeah.
Is that the half-hour time?
That's the half-hour one.
Leave it to the
Half hour
newfies.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
They
Those
make great dogs.
crazy
And,
Canucks.
and jokes.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Just the dogs.
You mean hot dogs or dog? Oh, Newfoundland dogs.
Newfoundland
Okay.
dogs, they're
Yeah, I
amazing.
get it. Okay. The largest country in the world is Russia. Russia,
Yay, I
A.
got
The
one.
answer was A. Canada is the second largest, actually. China's the third largest. USA is the fourth largest. So Canada can go around chanting, we're number 2, right? Okay. Russia is the largest. Anybody get that?
I did.
Everybody got it?
Yeah, if you speak Russian, you know, хорошо.
Yeah. Хорошо.
Good.
Хорошо. Okay. Spasibo. All right. Trying to remember what Russian I know. I could almost speak Russian at one time, but that time has sailed a long time ago. Okay. Who was the youngest person to become Canada's Prime Minister? Was it Justin Trudeau, Joe Clark, or Brian Mulroney? It was actually Joe Clark. He became
Wow.
Prime Minister one day before his 40th birthday, which
That's
made
about
him...
the lengthy stage.
He was 39 years and 364 days old.
Jokes about Joe Clark. I think we have officially moved this to the niche, like the smallest niche that we've ever hit.
But Joe Clark was kind of a one-off. He was like in the middle of Pierre Trudeau's vast range from the 60s through the 80s. And in the middle, Joe Clark won like one term, and then he was turned out of office. So, yeah. And
People were mad at Trudeau, and they said, you know, you go into the doghouse for a little while.
yeah. I had to pull out the bad buzzer for that. Okay. And for people who don't know, of course, Pierre Trudeau, father of Justin Trudeau, the current Prime Minister. Which of the following was not a Canadian invention? Well, it was actually the cheese slicer, which was invented in Norway. So Vanessa got that
I
one.
did.
Did anybody get Joe Clark, by the way? No?
I did not.
No? Okay. Well, it looks like Merwin and Elaine are ahead by 1 as we head into the next quiz. Oh, what happened to our music? Let me pull it back here. There we go. All right. Here is our O Canada quiz part 2. What province was the first to grant voting rights to women? Was it Ontario, Quebec, or Manitoba? When was the loonie introduced into Canadian currency circulation? Was it 1987, 1997, or 2007? How many Canadian teams are in the National Hockey League? Is it 7, 8, or 9? And if you
Do
can,
our teams count? Right now, Edmonton and Montreal are not necessarily that close to professional hockey teams.
Yeah, but they do count.
They do
Ouch.
count.
I can't
Yeah.
hear you, Merwin. I have 24 Stanley Cups blocking my ears.
I'm sorry, what were the numbers again?
7, 8, or 9. Okay, what animal is an official emblem of Canada? An official emblem. Is it a moose, the beaver, or the black bear? A, B, C. Which of those is an official emblem of Canada? Now, which of the following is not an official symbol of Canada? Is it the maple tree, the Canadian horse, or the maple leaf? A, B, or C. Not an official symbol of Canada. And finally, when did O Canada become the official national anthem? Was it 1917? Was it 1967? Or was it 1980? Okay. Let me bring down the music.
These feel different. These feel a little bit more like I should know these,
Uh-huh.
and I will feel bad when I don't.
These are
Yeah.
trickster questions.
Yeah. this-
All these questions came from the Collingwood Museum in Ontario,
Ah.
in Collingwood, Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah, but don't tell anybody because
But it doesn't have the same, like, oh, I forgot the cheese slicer was Norwegian feel.
yeah, right.
Yeah, these feel a little bit more central to our identity as Canadians.
Right. Although I did forget about the cheese slicer. You know, we did that before. We did like a whole invented by Canadians quiz. And I'm not sure, but I think the cheese slicer may have been on there because there was like a Wisconsin
The
joke
electric
involved.
wheelchair was definitely on
Yeah,
there. I remember
definitely.
that.
All right, Elaine, I'm going to turn this back over to you to talk a little bit more about the repertoire because it's not just Canadian brass that are performing. The symphony is performing also, and you guys are doing a great piece. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. This is a great opportunity for us to play one of the major American works that dates from just before the Canadian brass was born, actually from 1970. It's called the River Suite. Actually, it was called initially Seven Dances, but it's by Duke Ellington, and it's an orchestra piece by Duke Ellington. It's not arrangement of tunes of Duke Ellington for symphony orchestra. It's a real orchestral work, and it's based around like the river. You can imagine the different. It goes from like the fall, the whirlpool of it, the rapids. You really like that idea of the evolution of water getting to be from the river to the sea, to the ocean. And all the movements, they represent a little bit of that. So we're playing 7 movements. And while he was composing it, he thought a lot of different things like La Mer, like water music, even Peter Grimes. But it's still Duke Ellington, came out exactly as that, but it's really beautiful music, very interesting. It's not exactly what you would think of when you think of Duke Ellington. It's the other side of Duke Ellington. And to see an artist that lives in both worlds, like orchestral world, jazz world, and is not just a quote unquote crossover artist, is the thing that goes the best with Canadian brass on our program. Because when they play more jazz or pop, they live that music. They don't just do it because, it's something that the public like. Of course, it's great that the public likes it. But for them, it's part of their DNA. And Duke Ellington always says, not one kind of music or another kind of music that's good or bad. You like some music is good, some music I don't like so much. But it's not just jazz, not just classical. So it goes really well with our program. And for me, it's the first time I do it. I'm not sure. Maybe Merwin can help me out. It might be the first time the orchestra does it, but maybe not.
It's the first time we've done it in its
excited about it.
entirety. We've done snippets of the suite, but we've never done the full suite. So it's exciting for us.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a major work.
Definitely a major work. And, it's right up there with the Harlem tone poem of Duke Ellington. A lot of great symphonic jazz that I'm really happy to see the symphony going in that direction for this concert.
Actually, I really love that you mentioned tone poems because even though it's funny because Alain totally mentioned the the influences that Ellington kind of studied. He studied water music and Lemaire. But I actually, in terms of the structure of it, it reminds me the most of Smetana's The Moldau.
Yeah.
Like this sense of this kind of journey down the river, and and then like kind of there's dances in and around that. So it's not just a water journey, but there's a human element to it as well.
Right.
And I think that, to my understanding, I don't think Ellington actually consulted the Smetana as source material, which kind of makes it all the more exciting that he was able to kind of, evoke this amazing tone poem, even though it was not something he was consciously trying to do.
Yeah. So, absolutely. It's a wonderful piece of music, and we look forward to having that. Let's wrap up our Canada quiz. Let me pull up our music again. You're going to be tired of that music by the end of the show, if
I'll
not
take
already.
it over the minute waltz.
Over the
any
minute
day.
waltz, yeah. Okay. I played that when you were gone.
Yeah,
so
I know. I
we're gonna-
listened.
We're going to rest that one for a little while. All right, the first province to grant voting rights to women was Manitoba in 1916. That is C. Anybody get that?
Not me.
No?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, Elaine in the
Liar.
lead. Okay, when was the loonie introduced into Canadian circulation? It was
1987.
1987.
Yep.
I remember that.
So Vanessa and Merwin got it. Did you get it, Elaine?
I think I actually have
Okay.
a loony in my pocket right now. I'm not kidding.
That sounds like a song. Loony in my pocket.
I can
Yeah.
check.
You're just happy to see us. Okay. How many Canadian teams are in the National Hockey League? 7, 8, or 9?
7.
Vanessa's still looking for her loony.
I'm almost positive I have a loony in my pocket.
Okay.
7.
7.
7. Can you name them all?
I tried really. Oh, I do have a loony in my pocket.
Wow, there it
Let's
is.
see
So-
what year it is.
The
Indeed.
Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, Winnipeg Jets, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, Montreal Canadiens, and Montreal.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
It should be
It
Should
should
be.
be.
They were the Quebec Nordique.
Yeah.
That's one of those inside jokes.
Oh no, there was a
Oh,
team in
that's
Quebec
not a
City. Yeah, there was a team in Quebec City, and they moved to they're now the team in Colorado, the Colorado Avalanche.
It's kind of like the Dodgers, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's the same sort of hard feelings
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. All right.
Went through all the growing pains, and then they moved to Colorado, and they win the cup twice.
Yes.
Go figure. All right. Which animal is an official emblem of Canada? It is B, the beaver. B for beaver. An official emblem of Canada. Named in 1975, it's been on the Canadian nickel, on postage stamps, and several coats of arms in Canada.
I drew a political cartoon in high school with talking beavers.
Wow.
Have you seen the YouTube video of the beavers doing curling?
Yes.
Oh, maybe it's actually a groundhog. It might not be a beaver, but it's very cute.
Yeah.
It's very
And we're not talking about Justin Bieber, right?
cute. Definitely.
or
not.
or Heinrich Ignaz Franz von Bieber.
No.
Okay.
Only one of those is a great Canadian.
Yes. So the beaver. Anybody get the beaver? Merwin got it.
Yep.
Elaine got it. Okay. Well, Elaine, you're still ahead by 1. All right. Which of the following is not an official symbol of Canada? It was the maple leaf. That's not an official symbol of Canada, even though it's used all the time.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, so the maple tree and the Canadian horse are official symbols of Canada. Did anybody choose the maple leaf?
No.
Yeah.
You did, Elaine?
Which is an official symbol, right?
No, which is not an official symbol.
No. I thought it was an official symbol, the Maple Leaf. Yep.
Okay, so did you
so
choose
no.
it? No, okay, I'm so confused. Anyway, I'm just scratching that off. You're in the lead anyway. All right. When did O Canada become the official national anthem? Well, it was written in 1880, but it didn't become an official national anthem until 1980. June 27th,
Really?
1980, the National Anthem Act made it the official national anthem of Canada in 1980. Did anybody get that?
No, I guess B.
Yep.
I guess 67.
Elaine, you got 1980?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, Elaine is the winner by far.
Can I just
Great
point out
composer, by the way.
He is the only one of us that still actually lives in Canada, so he should have won.
That was the nicer way to go with that. I was going to go like, well, there's so much of this history that I didn't live.
If anybody's curious, my toonie is from the year 2000. No, it's a loonie, not a toonie.
Yeah,
2013.
you have to explain what a loonie and a toonie are.
Well, a loonie is a single dollar coin, and a toonie is a $2 coin.
Yeah, Canadian dollars, right?
Canadian. Yes, I'm 99% positive I have a toonie in my cup holder in the car.
Wow.
And I may have a $5 bill, too.
The concert with the Canadian Brass is happening this weekend. It's Friday and Saturday, February 18th and 19th at the Toledo Museum of Art, Peristyle. The concerts are at 8 o'clock p.m. You can find more information at ToledoSymphony.com, or their box office phone number is 419-246-8000. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of our program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Remember to check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO's streaming platform online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Alain Trudel, Merwin Sue, and Vanessa Gardner. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.